and welcome to DRR Dialogues by National Institute of Disaster Management. I'm Dr. Prerna Joshi. I'm an assistant professor with the National Institute of Disaster Management. Thank you for joining this session on one of the most important frameworks shaping modern conservation, climate action, and sustainable development, the IUCN Global Standard for Nature-Based Solutions. In this lecture, we will explore why nature-based solutions matter today, why a global standard was necessary, what this standard is intended to do, who can use it, and finally, a detailed walkthrough of the 8 criteria and 28 indicators that define credible nature-based solutions. By the end of the session, you will have a clear understanding of how to interpret, apply, and evaluate nature-based solutions using this globally recognized and scientifically grounded framework. For much of the 20th century, conservation was viewed as a niche concern, something separate from mainstream development, and often secondary to economic growth, industrial expansion, and infrastructure priorities. In many contexts, nature was seen either as a scenic backdrop to human progress or conversely as a barrier to development that needed to be cleared, controlled, or engineered over. But over time, both scientific evidence and real-world experience have revealed a far more profound truth. Nature is not optional. It is foundational to human survival, prosperity, and well-being. Ecosystems provide the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, and the stability of the climate we depend upon. They protect us from disasters, support our economies, and enrich our cultural and spiritual identities. Far from being separate from development, nature is deeply interwoven with it. And without healthy ecosystems, sustainable development simply cannot exist. Today, we understand that the continued loss of biodiversity and the degradation of ecosystems are directly linked to food insecurity, water scarcity, increased public health risk, declining resilience to disasters, and accelerating climate change. Yet, alongside this warning comes a powerful opportunity. Nature does not suffer the impacts of environmental degradation. It also offers profound pathways to address them. From restoring wetlands to reduce flood risk, to protecting forests for carbon storage, to greening cities to reduce heat stress and improve mental well-being, we now know that working with nature can help us solve societal challenges effectively, equitably, and sustainably. This understanding forms the foundation of an approach now widely recognized as nature-based solutions. According to IUCN's 2016 definition, nature-based solutions are actions to protect, sustainably manage, or restore natural or modified ecosystems that address societal challenges effectively and adaptively, while providing human well-being and biodiversity benefits. These actions can take many forms, including mangrove and salt marsh restoration, forest landscape restoration, watershed and catchment management, urban green belts, nature corridors and blue-green stormwater systems, coral reef restoration for coastal protection, agroforestry, regenerative agriculture, and resilient rangeland management. What makes these solutions unique is that these are grounded in science, yet deeply informed by community knowledge, cultural relationships with land and water, and long-standing ecological traditions. Nature-based solutions are not a new idea, but today they offer a renewed and urgently needed blueprint for building a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable future. Why a standard was needed? As nature-based solutions gained global recognition, including adoption in climate agreements, financing frameworks, and national development plans, a challenge emerged. The term started being used inconsistently. Some interventions were labeled as nature-based solutions, even when they provided little biodiversity benefit, lacked community involvement, were not financially or socially sustainable, or were simply green branding without measurable environmental or societal outcomes. To avoid misuse and to encourage that nature-based solutions contribute meaningfully to climate mitigation, adaptation, biodiversity recovery, and human well-being, IUCN, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, developed the Global Standard for Nature-Based Solutions. This standard helps ensure nature-based solutions are credible, measurable, replicable, inclusive, and aligned with global sustainability priorities. What does the standard do? The global standard provides a structured self-assessment and design framework. It is intentionally facilitative, not prescriptive. It does not impose rigid numerical thresholds. Instead, it strengthens decision-making and adaptive learning. Using this standard helps improve project quality, identify design gaps, demonstrate credibility to investors and partners, track and communicate impacts, align with reporting systems such as Sustainable Development Goals, nationally determined contributions, or carbon and restoration frameworks. Who can use the standard? The standard is meant for a wide range of users: national and local governments, NGOs and civil society, investors and developmental banks, planners, engineers, architects, conservation and development practitioners, academic and technical institutions, indigenous and community-based organizations. It applies across ecosystems: forests, mountains, coasts, rivers, agricultural lands, and across scales from small village initiatives to national programs. The structure of the standard. The standard consists of 8 criteria and 28 indicators. Each criteria reflects a foundational pillar of what makes a nature-based solution credible, equitable, and effective. Let's explore each criteria and its indicators. Criteria 1. Nature-based solutions effectively address societal challenges. A true nature-based solution must begin with a clearly defined societal challenge based on evidence and community priorities. The key indicators are: the most pressing societal challenges are prioritized with right holders. The challenge is clearly understood and documented. Human well-being outcomes are identified, benchmarked, and periodically assessed. Key point to remember here is that nature-based solution must respond to real needs, not hypothetical benefits. Criteria 2. Design is informed by scale. Nature-based solutions operate within social, ecological systems, and their designs must consider ecological, social, cultural, policy, and governance scales. The key indicators are: the design recognizes interactions among economy, society, and ecosystem. It integrates with other interventions, for example, hybrid engineering. It is informed by landscape or seascape context. The key point to remember here is: a riverbank restoration cannot ignore upstream land use, downstream hydrology, or watershed governance. Criteria 3. Net gain to biodiversity and ecosystem integrity. Nature-based solution must enhance, not degrade, biodiversity. The key indicators are: biodiversity baselines are assessed, long-term biodiversity goals are set, the intervention demonstrates a measurable net gain. Monoculture plantations do not qualify as nature-based solutions. Criteria 4. Nature-based solutions are economically viable. Sustainability requires financial realism and resilience. The key indicators for this criteria are: cost effectiveness is demonstrated, long-term financial plans exist beyond initial grants, and benefits outweigh costs, including avoided losses. We must keep in mind nature-based solutions must be viable for communities, governments, and investors. The 5th criteria is inclusive, transparent, and empowering governance. Any nature-based solution must support right holders and reflect governance justice. Its key indicators are: meaningful stakeholder participation, transparent decision-making, fair sharing of rights, responsibilities, and benefits, and recognition of indigenous and local knowledge. It is important to note here that nature-based solutions are not only ecological, these are social in nature. The 6th criteria is fair management of trade-offs. All interventions have trade-offs. These must be acknowledged and managed equitably. Its key indicators are: trade-offs are identified and documented, decisions consider short and long-term implications, equity is central in resolving trade-offs, and no group bears disproportionate harm. The key point to consider for this criteria is: transparency builds legitimacy. Criteria 7. adaptive management based on evidence. Any nature-based solution must evolve as the systems evolve. Its key indicators are monitoring frameworks are in place, learning is used to adjust management decisions, uncertainty and risks are acknowledged, and adaptive actions are documented and implemented. It is important to remember that static solutions are not climate resilient. The eighth and final criteria is sustainable and mainstreamed. For impact to scale, nature based solutions must be embedded into institutions and systems. Key indicators include policy, legal, or planning integration. Define long term ownership and maintenance, alignment with national and global commitments, capacity building, and awareness. We should remember that a pilot project becomes a nature based solution success only when it becomes a normal practice. To summarize the lecture, today we have learned that the International Union for Conservation of Nature IUCN Global Standard gives us a shared language, a quality assurance framework, a pathway to scale, and confidence for policy, implementation, and investment. Nature based solutions offer hope but also responsibility. When applied with rigor, inclusiveness, and science, nature based solutions can help tackle climate change, disaster risk, biodiversity loss, water scarcity, food insecurity, and social vulnerability, while improving well being for people and the planet. Thank you for listening so patiently and for contributing to a future where development and nature move forward, not in opposition but together. Thank you.